Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. We'll jump into the queue here, and meanwhile, what's on TV? Volcanic versus Banana Splits. Volcanic has occasionally offered some suggestions to me in the comments of my YouTube videos. I think they've all been good suggestions, although it took me a while to understand some of them. What's going on here? Are we going to be able to get Asteries? Probably, right? There's a decent absorber, a good soak, more good soak, and econ. Okay soak, but maybe not gettable here. And really no good attackers. So yeah, this looks like an Asteri set with Doomed Wall and Aegis. Both players going high econ to get to the point that you can buy Asteries. I feel like player 2 probably should have gone D1E on turn 1, but didn't. That's usually good with Doom Drones. Maybe because you want green and it's a slow game, you'd rather not. So it makes it a bit harder to get the conduit on turn 3 if you do that. You end up having to spend more of your Doom Drone supply. So, is Volcanic getting an Asteri right away? I guess that's probably good, right? Because now your opponent is sort of in a tough spot. Do they buy a Doomed Wall? Or they kind of need to get a Blast Forge to be ready to Doomed Wall, and they don't really want to do that. And yeah, but like, how do you get your own Blast Forge against the Asteri that your opponent threatens to get next turn, right? So maybe after doing this, you just like don't actually buy the Asteri. You just, by threatening it, you make your opponent get a Blast Forge and a bunch of Doom Drones instead of real drones. And then you say, LOL, just kidding, I'm saving up this green and get a Blast Forge. I guess so. Sneaky. One Gauss Cannon to make them build a wall instead of a splitter. That's sure. Oof, and then like so many turns of being able to build Asteri and wall together. That's pretty cool. I feel like I would cut this drone and build a Doom Drone instead, so you can Asteri Doomed Wall. Which will be good considering the opponent's planning to build an Asteri. Yeah, and this is probably going to be the last set of drones you build for quite a while, and so wouldn't they be better if they were Doom Drones? At least one of them. Yeah, so maybe you build a Asteri, Doomed Wall, and then, like, I don't know. You don't really want to float the blue, and you don't want to spend the green on anything but Asteri, and so you don't have enough money to build any more drones. It's a bit awkward. Maybe cut both of these for Doom Drones? Liquid Egg. I don't think I've played against this person. I've seen them in Twitch chat, but alright, this looks red-green. I don't think that this blue, like, absorb denial plan is going to work out well against all this stuff, so forget it. Get out of here. You might get a wall someday, but that's about the only blue thing I see getting. The question is whether you can get Asteri, or not Asteri, jeez, I'm still in that last game, Sinestra, or if it's basically just Ferals. I'm inclined to think it's basically just Ferals. And if you have any spare green, you can spend it on Cryos. Like, Sinestra's good, but there's going to be so much pressure, and it's going to be hard to get it out. By the way, I hope that the volume levels are okay in this one. I noticed after looking over the last 2 videos that somehow the sound levels were wrong, and I was like occasionally... what's it called when you make a sound too loud for the mic to record? It's like over gaining, it was not popping, I don't know. maxing... I can't think of the word. I'm not an audio technician, but I don't know how that happened because I didn't do any sound adjustments in between those two videos and the previous one, I don't think. That wasn't when I had to like switch my mic's USB slots or anything, but it clearly like my voice was way louder than the music and in fact too loud, so I turned down the mic in my OS and tested and it sounds a lot better now. Alright, so we're down 2 drones, but we have tempo on Tarsiers. We're also down tempo on green, I guess? Now the question is, do we build TTC or TTD here? That I'm not sure about. I think green is just amazing this game. Because you kind of want to build ferals, and you want force fields, and you want cryos. And if I just build a drone here, like next turn I'm getting a feral and the Tarsier, that's 9. I would have 12. I could never get another conduit. I'd have to get another drone again, and I think I'd rather just accumulate some green here. Not making me get any ferals after all. Are you gonna try to get a Sinestra? Maybe I should get a feral just to make that really quite difficult. Yeah, Tarsier Feral Cryo is a pretty tough Sinestra to get. Wow, drones. Okay, trying. I mean, that's one way to try to get the Sinestra, I guess. Float a bunch of money for Sinestra plus Rhino. If you cut one more drone, you could do that. Or no, you couldn't because it's 17, and you would only have 16. No, you could get up to 18, sure. What's with this conduit, though? Like, you already have enough for a Sinestra, and you're clearly not getting more, ever. I guess cryos and force fields and stuff are good. I don't know. Maybe by imagining that my opponent wants a Sinestra, I'm underestimating them. Because it seems like a Sinestra is quite hard to get here if you get a second conduit. If you want one, you don't get a second conduit. I got a second conduit even though I know Sinestra is ungettable, and so maybe that's what my opponent is doing. Okay, so 14 and 4 red? Really? What is that about? This is good because it freezes my opponent's granularity when I do 2 damage next turn. No, they're going to build a feral, right? And so absorbing 2 on the feral is exactly what they want to do. So this doesn't look so great. This is kind of interesting, but it doesn't do anything this turn. So I guess I can hold this and wait and see if what I need is a cryo or I need something else. I could have gotten 2 ferals here, I guess. I don't know. That's what I got all this green for. Ah! Help! There's so many cryos. Yeah. I guess that's a thing, huh? Now if they freeze 1... Ooh, they're gonna freeze engineers to make me lose a feral and get no absorb though, right? This way they can't do that? And I'm suddenly threatening a lot of attack. I'm glad I didn't build that cryo last turn because I think it's important to build a force field here. They should probably freeze 2 engineers. To make me lose force field onto Feral. Because I'd be thrilled to lose engineer instead. Why buy the cryos if you're not going to use them in a position where they're clearly great? Do I need this force field? Yeah, they don't have to lose any attack, and also, even if they don't lose any, even if they did lose some attack, they'd still be breaching, so... could this be a Rhino? No, probably not. Wow, I'm far behind on drones, but having a ton of damage is pretty cool. I think here you again freeze the engineer. I guess just free damage, right? I don't know. I guess it's... No, yeah, it's real damage, right? You're making me take less damage on the ferals, which doesn't matter very much, and more damage on this stuff, which really does matter. I can probably afford to hold back an attacker next turn if you do this, which should help a lot. Right, having one of these 3 health ferals back as insurance is going to make things more comfortable for me. Definitely not freezing a force field. That's a waste of charges. But the engineer, sure. You could also freeze the ferals, I guess. Right? Would that be good? That might be good. That's probably good. It's probably better than freezing the engineer. Yeah. Okay, well, the force field freeze completely wasted, of course. So I can hold back, like I said, this, and... No, actually, attacking does something, doesn't it? The opponent has to lose at least 2 attack, presumably exactly 2 attack here. So they have 6 plus 3 is 9, so this defends. Okay. I wonder if the feral that I just built was too greedy, if it should have been Rhino Force Field instead. Probably. No good freezes for you this turn, I don't think. I don't know. Yeah, Rhino Force Field, sure. It can absorb for 1 and then immediately soak for 2, whereas a feral can do the same thing, but it also costs a green. And so building Rhino Force Field lets you get the Force Field as well. Okay, so we're probably having to hold back some attackers here, right? Something like this. That's a little bit... Well... Instead of the Rhino, I could hold a bunch of drones. But I'd really... Oh, I can build a feral, idiot. Okay. Yeah, it should be hard for them to continue defending. Obviously, it would be even harder if I did this, but then they'd get some pretty good breaches. So I think this is how much we can attack for. Right, like, can you really put together 9 defense? I guess you could force field and hold 6 drones. That's still not enough. So you kind of have to hold back a feral. Oh, you don't. That's true. You don't need 9. I'm losing a little bit of attack. I'm losing 2 attack. And it might be quite difficult for me to attack with all of it, even then. So you could try a gambit like this, perhaps. Could work. But by giving me this force field back, effectively, you know, losing the cryo rays gives me the force field back. I might be able to attack with everything, force field, hold drones. It seems like I should be able to, right? So say I do this. Yeah, it seems pretty alright. I could be a little bit... Like, if I hold back the feral, I don't get the breach. That's another line worth considering, I guess, right? Is to attack like this. Then my opponent has 1 more threat, but I get all this, like, juicy absorb. Yeah, it's not really that amazing, I don't think. Let's just go for it. And we should be able to slaughter some attackers this turn. Maybe not. Yikes. Did I over-defend? Why did I hold this drone back? Oh, because of the freeze. That's right. So, here... They threaten to freeze drone and breach a feral if they attack with everything. But then the only defense that they have is a force field. And I have 6 attack. That's okay with me. I'll just kill all the ferals, hold the drone and a feral. That doesn't exactly work. I can force field though. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I super win here. The details are not that important. I could emote him. It seems rude. Do I have any good, like... Oh, alright. There we go. He gives up. So, pretty sharp, low econ game, as red-green mirrors tend to be. He was way up in economy, but just a little bit down in damage, and that makes a big difference. The cryos really hurt. I'm not sure. Like... I could have tried here upgrading this Tarsier into another Feral. It's like basically buying a Gauss charge, right? Compared to just getting a Tarsier. It's 1 in the green more and you get to attack next turn. It's not Feral Warden's best usage, right? You'd rather be defending with it and then attacking. But when the opponent's going to be under some pressure, getting that Feral earlier can help. Now, on the other hand, like, green is not free for me. Like, force fields are pretty good. And I was going to need, like, double Warden against these cryos, so... I don't know, like... If I spent 1 and a green more last turn, then I can't make this play this turn, right? So, I don't know, maybe it was actually great. Maybe I could have just upgraded it to a Rhino, actually. Tarsier was... yeah, that's a good thing to think about. Tarsier was just too greedy here. I don't know. Well, you still can't make this play next turn, right? But we'd be attacking for 1 more, killing these 2 NGs. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is such a fast game that after the first 2 Tarsiers to deny absorb, you don't really want any more. Trying to get in a third, I think, was just too greedy for me. And then, you know, everything just turned to force fields in a big hurry. I wonder if my opponent maybe could have won if they had just used their cryos better. I think cryos are definitely good to get here, and I felt bad that I was not in a position to get any. Maybe I'm just sort of on too low econ to build attackers and also cryos is the thing, I guess. I have enough green for it, but not enough drones. Because what really would 1 cryo here have done? Not much, right? That's why I didn't do it. I appreciated having all the green for force fields. Like, very few of these turns does it seem like having a single... Okay, I take it back. Having 1 cryo right here would be pretty cool. We'd make him lose a Rhino, right? And then he'd attack for less, and he wouldn't have this freeze exploit either. But, okay, so freezing the force field, clearly wrong here. I don't know. We talked about the freeze mistakes my opponent made. Let's not get too caught up in them. Soaking with 2 Feral Wardens feels like pretty bad. But what else can I do? I guess I could consider the fact that my opponent sort of... Wait, why did we freeze this? Oh yeah, because otherwise I would go force field Feral and save a Feral. Sure, so good freeze. But the fact that my opponent will have cryos suggests maybe I could have gotten a Rhino here instead of the Feral. Since I'm gonna have, like, it makes my defenses a little bit... Oh, I'd have less... No, he would preach that. I was thinking it would be kind of nice to have, like, 2 2s and 2 3s so that he can't use his cryos to, like, deny me of the ability to use a 2. And that way I would have less health this turn, but I'd have 1 more green that I could use for force fields coming up. But actually, since there's a breach, if I do that, it seems pretty poor. And then the end game, I don't know. It was just like I was ahead that little bit from having more attack all game, and things timed out to have me be ahead. There wasn't like a lot I was doing in the end game that was super important. Let's try to get a second game in. Ace versus Majukas? Oh, Savior. Ah, that was going to be exciting. Ooh, Volcanic. Tough game. Tough game coming up. Huh. I'm player 1. I don't know what to do. There's so much stuff. Well, let's look at the absorbers in the set. Urban Sentry. That's the absorber you're using. Well, or wall, right? There's no big absorbers is what I'm getting at. For soak, you have some pretty good soak. You know, Plexo, Aegis, Urban, Fibroid, Cauterizer. These are all decent soak. But they're not absorbers, which is like the main thing you want for a high econ kind of game. So this might go mid econ. The thing is that like Plexocell can be denied by Manticores or by Iceblades. I just have like no idea what direction to go in here. Can you use Urbans to counter Iceblades? Maybe. I'm just so scared of Iceblades. I'm so bad at playing with them. Seems like you want probably a lot of green this game, but you don't want to like super rush for it, right? So like a typical player 1 opening for Urban Sentries is DD, DD, DBC, right? And that certainly seems like it could be okay here. But what, like, do you really want to spam Urban Sentries as your attacker? That's good against, like, Iceblades, but it's not good against most of the other stuff in this set, I don't think. Maybe it's okay against Manticore. It's a cheap way to produce attack while you, like, get a little bit more tech for Smorkus or Cauterizer or something, right? But I'm just not sure what else I would do. Natural Animus into Tarsiers and a Conduit? And then, like, get a Smorkus, maybe? Right, the 2 Tarsiers help you deny Absorb, and then you can pick up a Smorkus to, like, not need to spend your red anymore, get back into blue and green where you belong. That actually seems kind of okay. So 2 Tarsiers and a Conduit. We still have 12 drones then. You can get a Smorkus drone or Smorkus Blast Forge. Smorkus and 2 drones or Smorkus and 1 Blast Forge. I don't think you want red-blue exactly. You want the green first. Oh, well, we would have the green after TTC. This seems like an okay start. I don't like that you get the first sentry, and I could get a Fibroid here, but I don't really want that exactly. Do I? Like, I was planning Smorkus, and I was thinking of Fibroid, but I don't know that it's really that great. Well, this lets me get the Blast Forge, actually. It absorbs the damage from his sentry, attacks back for a lot, and then I can get, like, Sentry Smorkus. Probably actually has to be Wall Smorkus, because he'll add a little more attack. But that sort of seems okay. And it's a bit awkward for him that we're killing the 2 engineers now, right? This seems very early for a Cauterizer, doesn't it? This is like Soak. Oh yeah, I didn't list Cauterizer when I was listing the big Soak units. Did I? Maybe I did. I should have. Yeah, Wall Smorkas seems about right here. I can get an engineer. The opponent's attacking for 3, so I'm losing 1. It improves my granularity for sure. I don't know if it's necessary. It would be nice. I'd like to be able to get a an urban sentry sometime soon, and having another engineer lying around makes that more realistic. Right, he's not going to add that much attack next turn. So I might be able to get away with it. We'll see. I'm absolutely clicking my Smorkas. Okay. He loses NG Fibroid onto Sentry, I guess. That way the Cauterizer still fires, and he attacks for 4. Yeah, but he has to turn off either the Cauterizer or the Fibroid, right? Unless he like force fields here to save them both. So he's only actually attacking for 4. He could like lose Sentry to soak onto Fibroid, which seems awful, but he could do it. So he has like some edge case things he could do to soak to attack for a little bit more. But none of them are super convenient. So attacking for 4 is about what I expect. Yeah, if I attack for 5, he has to lose 3 of these then, right? Okay. Now you can attack for 5, or I guess 6? You can attack with everything if you want. Lose 3 NGs. Still fire Cauterizer and Fibroid. That puts me under more pressure. I'm glad. It seems like we're putting him under a lot of pressure. I don't know if he's found a good answer or not. Whoa! Okay. So now he has to lose 2 attack. Still, right? I click this. If he wants to lose just NGs, he loses the Cauterizer fire, so he can't do that. But so he loses some 2 attack and attacks for just 6. If he really, really wanted to, he could lose just 1 attack, but that's also fine with me. Right, I expect him to lose Fibroid NG and then attack for 6. I'm getting this for like more conduits, more force fields, or more Plexos, or to be able to build Aegis someday, perhaps. Unlikely as that seems. probably just Plexos. Which are kind of bad against his Fibroid threats. Maybe I should just get NGs. Nah, because I like threaten to build some Fibroids or more sentries of my own. I think it's fine. Yeah, that is a breach for exact. Like, sure. Enjoy. It cost him a lot. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So, when we attack for 6 here, what exactly is he doing? He could, again, lose Sentry. Let's say more realistically, he loses a Fibroid or the Cauterizer Fire. Like, I think a Plexo's fine. And even if he doesn't do that, like... Building this Plexo means he can afford to lose Fibroid because it's not doing anything. I could consider not doing that somehow. Like, I don't know. Get a wall instead. But like, why? I don't know. I guess I could try... Is there any line that doesn't involve clicking the Smorkus? Like, what if I did this? This seems pretty threatening. I want to keep in mind that 6 attack is going to be really good against him next turn, though, right? And I already have basically 6. So these Fibroids are not threatening anything interesting. Yeah, I think just a Plexo is better. Shouldn't you lose the Fibroid, not the NGs? Yeah. And I can have the Splitter as like a defender next turn, since I'm killing the Iceblade anyway. I think. I could consider not killing the Iceblade, I guess. So first of all, let's say I do this. That's pretty cool. I can get another Urban Sentry. Drone NG. He threatens to kill the Splitter, but who cares? Alternatively, if I just do this attack, he kind of has to lose the Cauterizer firing. So he's got 5 plus 2, or 7 is 2. Yeah, so he has 5 plus 1. I don't know. I think it's better to just kill this. He's up quite a few drones, I think, is his main advantage here. So 6 damage does nothing. I might as well do this to kill an engineer. He's attacking for how much for real? Like 1, 2, 3, 4... 6 damage is all like 100% locked in. He really cannot not deal that damage. So a Plexo is okay. It gets value. But I don't necessarily want to do it. I could build a wall instead and like a Gauss cannon or something, but why would I? Let's just build this. Next turn though, this is 7 damage, kind of 8. What if instead of clicking this, I built a fibroid? That doesn't seem very good. Also, I don't have that much time. Okay, let's just go with this that seemed reasonable at the time. So I think I will not kill the Iceblades this turn, and just not Plexo. It turns off an Urban Sentry and the Cauterizer. Like, he'd like to get up to 2 Iceblades to stop me from Plexo selling, but I can just, like, not Plexo, and that's fine, too. I think. Right, and if you're only doing 6 plus 3 freeze, or 2 freezing Engies, like... That's a bit awkward, isn't it? What if I do this? Actually, 6 damage is pretty convenient for him. I don't really like that idea. So, right, we said he's doing 6 damage and freezing 3 or 2. So I'm losing 1 sentry this way. Let's just hit him with a Gauss cannon. Take that. And then I have like 4, 5, 8 damage. It might be better to build Engies here. Yes, that freeze makes me lose 1 Urban Sentry. You know what would be nice is to find some way to do 12 damage all at once with fibroids. Seems a little bit unrealistic, but maybe. Because then, like, killing Iceblades is pretty cool. So he gets to keep the Cauterizer on, but he has to lose Sentry and Fibroid this way. So that's like he's attacking for about 9. The Iceblades are on, but that's okay. I can just use... no, let's not. Let's just build my own Fibroids and a Sentry. I can actually maybe deny him some value by killing Iceblades instead? Right? then, like, what am I doing with my red or my blue? I don't think that's so great. I lost track of whether this is good or not. The force fields are probably not necessary. But they do make it hard for him to force me to lose sentries. I would have... Oh, let's... I would have loved to get cauterizers somehow here. Yeah, I'm way overdoing it on the engineers. I'm just like running out of time and not sure what to do. Figuring out how we're each defending is kind of complicated. Yeah, and then next turn I can get the cauterizer. I don't want to kill this, do I? He's keeping alive 4 health? Yeah. Let's not. I think you should actually freeze the engineer. No, not if you're attacking with the Smorkas. Yikes. I'm losing so much attack here. Alright, well, we can deny him a little absorb that way, I guess. I think I ought to just get, like, a Smorkas here. And Engies. 10 and 2. Oh, he actually does breach this way. That's not so hot. Yeah, so the Fibroid seems better. But I only get to keep 1 or 2 Engineers this way. Not so great either. Now I think I get to keep firing the cauterizer this way. No. That. Damage. 5, 8, 10. God. This is the worst. So this defends. It feels real bad though. Like I'm losing my cauterizer click real soon. I think he's just got me here. Oh my god, and I'm not absorbing now. Okay, I give up. So I think I had the right idea early on. Like I like my opening here, and then I just sort of after that, things didn't go so well. I think my opponent made a lot of good tactical choices, and I didn't. Like, I still don't understand this Cauterizer. It really didn't feel right to me. But I guess there's something to be said for Cauterizer as defense against threat, right? You have 4 engineers, and you're trying to keep them alive, but you're willing to gambit them. They're gambit insurance against what your opponent is doing, right? And as a player owning Smorkus and Fibroid, like, threat is a thing that I have, so worth considering. And on this like Fibroid turn, I did Gambit here, and I knew I was doing it. I didn't think it would really be a good idea for him to absorb on the Fibroid, but maybe it is? Like, what exactly does it cost him compared to absorbing on Sentry and losing Fibroid? He loses his Urban. He has 1 fewer Urban Sentry is basically the answer, right? And he's dealt 2 more damage to me. Is that correct? Yes. And that 2 damage is killing a wall. So, by taking this Gambit, he is trading his Urban Sentry for my wall, which, on the face of it, doesn't seem like that great a trade. Wall is a much worse unit than an Urban Sentry. Actually, I take it back. It's not just killing my wall, right? Because if he attacks for 2 less, then I don't just keep the wall. I keep the wall and an engineer. So trading Urban Sentry for my wall NG, that actually starts to seem like a better deal. Especially when I'm sort of just struggling to establish myself, in a way. I've built like some attackers, and I need to get a comfortable defense going. So I think I maybe shouldn't have offered this trade, but I'm not sure what else to do. Like, I can build a wall instead of a sentry, obviously. But that does not seem like a winning play. I could hold a drone and not build the NG? I don't like that either. I could not click Smorkus and buy Fibroid at some point, somehow. But I'm already spending all my green. Maybe building wall and just floating the green is not so bad. I don't know. I really wasn't expecting my opponent to take this gambit, although I now see it was a pretty reasonable one. And if my opponent doesn't take it, Urban Sentry is way better than wall. Well, the gambit would have worked against me, I guess. But okay, that turn has happened. And now he gets Iceblades, which I don't think are that great here, but I didn't really find a very good way to punish them. I needed to be more careful about keeping my attack at levels where killing an Iceblade is useful, or killing something like, I don't know. If you made Iceblade a blocker, it would be insane, right? It's like pretty good, but it would be disgusting if your opponent like had to attack it. And so a lot of the play against Iceblade involves not attacking it, Or at least threatening not to attack it, right? Yeah, so we do all this. And here, like, I have comfortably exactly 6 attack, and I think it would be a mistake to not click the Iceblade. He would just lose Urban Sentry Engie, and I'm like much happier to kill an Iceblade than that. So I did. Fine. Maybe my problem was that I let him get to the position of owning 2 Iceblades, making my Plexos weaker. I don't know. Like here, okay, I added an Urban Sentry, and that gets me to like 7 damage, which makes killing the Iceblade worse. But like, Urban Sentry is still good. You still want to buy it. I guess I could have considered getting a Splitter instead to save the green. But then, like, I don't know, what's the point? It's just like Splitter is a more expensive wall that threatens to attack. Maybe that's worth something. We could make it harder for him to defend his engineers and then be like, oh, well, just kidding, killing your Iceblades. I don't know. Maybe this drone was too greedy as well. So he gets this, and what did I end up doing? I said I would rather kill some of this stuff. And I think here, actually, maybe is where things went a bit wrong. Because this would have been, I think, a great turn to buy a Cauterizer. And if I do that and kill the Iceblade, my opponent attacks for 8, which is losing 3 Engies into an Urban, right? And then I have a bunch of Engies lying around. But it sort of like becomes awkward to kill Iceblades again, and it's also awkward not to kill them. I'm not sure. What happens if I try that? Right, just buy Cauterizer plus nothing, kill Iceblade. Of course, I'm not going to play it as well as he did, but you know, this freeze is free, you might as well take it. He's defended already if he is willing to gambit all this stuff, but I don't think he's thrilled about doing that. Sentry... Aegis? I sort of have like 8 real damage. So killing the Iceblade is not that great a deal for me, and Aegis is pretty good if I don't. Doing 10 damage and freezing this, so I do need a little bit of defense. I guess Aegis does it, and a Sentry. This way, I think I keep Engies alive, right? I don't know. Yeah, he has to... The 9 attack is a bit awkward for him. Oh, I made him float money when he could clearly have just bought an Engineer. Now he gets to keep everything firing, freeze this, click here, and I lose 5, 8, 10. I guess that's alright. But I can't buy Aegis Urban every turn. I'm gonna like have some trouble. I guess actually though, I should build a wall instead and save the green. Sacking Sentry is not really any better than just buying a wall. Okay, let's do that. Now I lose Aegis Wall. And I'm like one conduit short of doing this forever. like an Aegis. Here's something to think about. He can't really buy Plexos, I don't think. Because I threaten, if he ever does buy one, to kill the Iceblade. So leaving him with one Iceblade puts him in an awkward spot. If he has two, then like he can freeze my Plexos. But if he has one, then I could ignore his Plexos. That's kind of a neat interaction. Okay, so let's say we attack for 9. Although, are we attacking for 9? Yes. I don't know. I don't want to follow this line like forever, but just I ran out of brain power and time on my clock to calculate things, and like this turn is clear evidence that things have gone off the rails. My attack is dwindling instead of growing, and he just has a bunch more of everything. Yeah, I still think I had the right idea in the opening, although I don't love this gambit, and that I just couldn't keep up tactically with all these complicated interactions that were happening. Oh well. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.